There was a time when the earth breathed in profound silence, a time long before any human voice echoed across its vast landscapes. No cities rose toward the sky, no roads scarred the land. The forests stretched like endless emerald seas, swaying gently under warm winds. The oceans shimmered as boundless realms of light and mystery. Life flourished everywhere wild, ancient, and untamed. This was the late Cretaceous, a golden age of colossal beings that seemed sculpted by the hands of forgotten gods. On the great plains and lush valleys, herds of triceratops roamed in majestic unity. Their massive frilled heads and 3 sharp horns gleamed. They gleamed under a sun that rarely knew the bite of winter. These gentle giants moved with deliberate grace, feeding on abundant ferns. In the skies above, enormous pterosaurs soared effortlessly, their vast wings cutting through the air like living sails, casting fleeting shadows. In the deep, mysterious seas, monstrous marine reptiles with powerful fins and rows of razor-sharp teeth reigned supreme over silent abysses. Yet among all these wonders, one creature stood unchallenged as the undisputed king of the land. The Tyrannosaurus rex, weighing nearly 2 tons, armed with bone-crushing jaws, dagger-like teeth, and muscular limbs tipped with deadly claws. It moved with a terrifying blend of power. Its roar could shake the very ground, sending lesser creatures fleeing into the undergrowth. It was a world of perfect, ferocious balance. Every creature had its sacred role in the grand cycle of life. Herbivores grazed peacefully on the immense vegetation, their bodies nourishing the soil. Carnivores hunted at dawn and dusk, when the soft light painted the dew-covered grass with hues of blood and gold. Every heartbeat carried meaning birth in hidden nests, the thrill of the chase, the finality of death, and the quiet renewal that followed. The planet itself pulsed with restless energy. Volcanoes erupted in dramatic chains of fire, rivers of molten lava carving fresh paths. Every tremor and explosion was like a deep breath from the living earth. Across the broad plains of the north, herds of ankylosaurs advanced slowly. Their thick bone armor, studded with spikes, glinted in the sunlight like living shields, offering formidable protection against any threat. Further south, massive groups of hadrosaurs waded through wide rivers, their duck-billed heads dipping into the water. Their distinctive calls echoed through the valleys like ancient, haunting songs. In the steamy swamps, small compsognaths darted in lively groups. In the dense forests, new plant species flourished as never before. Colorful insects buzzed busily, carrying pollen from one ancient flower to another, helping the green world thrive. The skies rang with the rhythmic beats of wings that had not yet known fear. Primitive birds experimented boldly with flight. The microraptor, adorned with dark, iridescent feathers that shimmered like polished obsidian, glided gracefully from tree to tree. Sunlight filtered through the lush foliage like liquid gold, dappling the forest floor in ever-shifting patterns of light and shadow. Beneath the tangled roots and in hidden crevices, tiny mammals lived in cautious shadows, small, warm-blooded, and alert. Teas scurried. They scurried through the undergrowth, ever wary of the giant predators above. They could not know it then, but these humble creatures already carried within them the quiet promise of a distant future. This harmonious world, so vibrant and perfectly balanced, was nevertheless fragile, suspended above an invisible abyss. None of its inhabitants could sense the change unfolding far beyond their blue sky. In the cold, empty darkness of space, a silent traveler had begun its fateful journey. A massive fragment of rock, forged in violent collisions within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, had been drifting for millions of years. Invisible and inevitable, it crossed the vast emptiness until it finally entered Earth's powerful gravitational embrace. The planet continued its gentle rotation, cradled by its protective atmosphere. Seasons passed in their slow, eternal rhythm. Mountains rose gradually from the crust. Oceans shifted and reshaped coastlines. Life bloomed and multiplied, blissfully unaware. But the asteroid accelerated relentlessly. It swept past the orbit of the moon and angled sharply toward the atmosphere. As it descended, the air in front of it compressed violently and heated to incandescent temperatures. From the surface of the Earth, a thin, bright trail bright trail suddenly appeared in the sky, growing steadily brighter and more ominous. With every passing second, only moments remained. The asteroid plunged deeper into the thickening air. Its surface became a blazing fireball, hurtling forward at more than 70,000 kilometers per hour. Measuring 10 kilometers across, it carried destructive energy equivalent to more than 100 million megatons, far beyond anything humanity would ever invent. Its precise target was the Yucatan Peninsula, in what would one day be known as Mexico, where the sea curved in a graceful arc. Beneath that serene blue sky, the dinosaurs experienced their final, unsuspecting dawn. No creature looked upward. The birds fell strangely silent. The animals froze in place, as if the earth itself were holding its breath. Then came the light and overwhelming flash that instantly blotted out the sun. A roar erupted that surpassed all sound, a thunder that shook the very soul of the planet. Time seemed to stop. The asteroid tore through the final kilometers of sky in less than a heartbeat. Its fiery wake ignited the atmosphere, lighting the day as brightly as 1,000 suns. And then it struck. The sea beneath it exploded upward in a colossal column of vapor and steam. The impact released cataclysmic energy that folded the Earth's crust. Bedrock melted instantly into glowing magma. The sky itself caught fire. Within a radius of thousands of kilometers, every living thing perished. A devastating shockwave raced outward, flattening forests and turning the air into an inferno. A towering tsunami, more than a kilometer high, surged across the oceans, obliterating coastlines thousands of kilometers away. Molten fragments of rock and metal were hurled high into space, only to fall back to Earth as a relentless rain of incandescent debris. Day and night blurred into one continuous hellscape. Forests vanished in walls of flame. Oceans by lead releasing poisonous vapors. The temperature on the surface soared beyond 1,000 degrees Celsius. The ground transformed into molten glass. Even the largest dinosaurs collapsed, their massive bodies suffocated by unbearable heat and toxic gases. Rivers evaporated in seconds. The planet trembled violently as earthquakes ripped across continents. The impact carved a colossal wound more than 180 kilometers wide and over 20 kilometers deep. The Chicxulub crater now, forever hidden beneath the sea, but eternally etched into the planet's memory. Shockwaves circled the globe multiple times, erasing entire ecosystems with each pass. In Meteor's vast forests, lakes, and thriving habitats disappeared. A thick cloud of ash and fine dust rose into the atmosphere, blotting out the sun. The once vibrant blue sky turned into a dark, choking wound of smoke and flame. Fine gray ash settled like a funeral shroud over seas, bodies, and the staring eyes of fallen giants. It was the dust of endings, yet even in this apocalypse, tiny sparks of life clung on. Deep underground, in riverbeds, burrows, and protected crevices, small creatures endured. Insects, amphibians, and the humble mammals. The humble mammals that had always lived in the shadows refused to surrender. These overlooked beings carried the fragile seeds of tomorrow. For months, then years, the dust remained suspended, plunging the world into an eternal twilight. Sunlight faded. Temperatures plummeted. Photosynthesis halted. Plants withered and died across the globe. Starving herbivores followed. The once mighty Tyrannosaurus rex wandered. The once mighty Tyrannosaurus rex wandered through charred, silent forests, searching desperately for prey that no longer existed. The great herds of Triceratops were reduced to scattered, exhausted survivors, slowly succumbing to hunger and freezing cold. In the seas, algae vanished, and even the ancient marine giants disappeared into a cold, liquid silence. The age of the giants ended, not in a single day, but in a long, merciless twilight of starvation and darkness. But beneath the gray blanket of ash, life refused to die. Years turned into decades. Slowly, the dust began to settle. Weak rays of sunlight finally pierced the thinning clouds. Gentle rains returned, washing the blackened soil and seeping into cracks in the earth. There, they found resilient seeds and spores. Resilient seeds and spores that had somehow survived. Against all odds, life stirred once more. Moss carpeted the rocks. Ferns pushed bravely through burnt tree trunks. Delicate flowers opened their petals to the pale, returning light. Insects reappeared. Insects reappeared in buzzing clouds. Small reptiles, surviving birds, and the once timid mammals emerged from their hiding places, where colossal dinosaurs had once thundered across the land. Now light, agile, and adaptable creatures darted across the recovering plains. The world had changed forever. The long reign of the reptiles was over. The age of mammals had quietly begun. The earth began to heal. Mountains continued their slow upward climb. Oceans reshaped their shores. Winds and rains gradually restored the land. Life danced again, not as it had been, but renewed. More fragile, yet far more adaptable and intelligent. The planet carried the memory. The planet carried the memory of that catastrophic day deep within its rocks, its fossils, and the bones buried under layers of silence. Today, when we walk upon a mountain trail or pick up an ancient stone, we tread upon the quiet memory of that world-ending moment. The Chicxulub impact did not destroy life on Earth. It transformed it. In that single second of pure devastation, the spark for a new era was lit. Millions of years later, in the very same lands, intelligent beings finally appeared, creatures capable of gazing at the stars, remembering the past, building wonders, and daring to dream. That was us. The asteroid that struck 66 million years ago did not end the story of life. It simply turned the page. One day, perhaps, our own civilization will face its twilight. The sky may darken once more. Tides may shift dramatically. Distant stars may burn in unfamiliar patterns. Yet life, in its infinite resilience, will always find a way. It transforms, adapts, and begins anew. The time that seemed to stop on that fateful day never truly ended. It flowed onward through eons of silence and renewal, carrying us forward into the present. It was never the final end of life. It was only the beginning of humanity.